What's up, guys? So today's video is a little bit different. I'm going to tell you what I'm dealing with currently with one of my companies and how I'm choosing to handle it. And the reason why I want to talk about it is simply to let you know, A, why a name is actually going to be changing, and the situation and circumstance revolving around that, and also kind of to tell you kind of my thought process and why I am basically allowing myself to be bullied into doing something that I legally don't have to do. Yeah, about that. So the other day I get an email from an attorney, and right away my butthole went whoop, like it puckered my stomach, like I got sick and nauseous to my stomach. I started to get cold because nothing ever good is associated with getting a letter from an attorney. This attorney was letting me know that they had been hired by a company to basically send me a cease and desist on the name, or I should say, the way I described the scent of my Pete Pedro deodorant Super Fresh. The thing that this company had a problem with was the fact that I called it Super Fresh. Well, a little bit of inside information. In terms of trademarking, right, I have gone through the process numerous times. You know, Pete Pedro has some trademarks. Tiege Hanley has some trademarks. Uncomplicated skincare for men is a trademark. We started using that before anybody. We filed all the paperwork, and we got that issued to us in a bunch of different countries. And so there legally is no way that another skincare company can use the word uncomplicated in reference to their system, because we own that. We've actually had to defend this before as well. There have been other skincare companies that have started to use the word uncomplicated routine, uncomplicated skincare, and we sent them the same or similar letter saying, yo, you got to stop because we own that. But the interesting thing is that the company that sent me this letter does not own that trademark. They have applied for it, but they don't own it. The other thing that you need to understand is that you cannot trademark a common name like Fresh, or if it was a food, delicious, like extra delicious. Like I can't be a burger and be like, yo, my burger is extra delicious. I'm going to trademark extra delicious, and nobody else can say that their burger is extra delicious. You can't do that. Now, can you trademark extra delicious super burger as like one whole thing? The answer is yes, you can. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the weeds about the legalities around trademarking and what you can't trademark and what you can, but I knew after reading this letter that A, they didn't have anything trademarked yet, and B, me calling this Super Fresh is 100%, 1000% totally legal. And so I get this, and I'm like, wait a second. One of the other things that they said was the fact that it looks similar in the way that I actually said super over fresh. The super's a little bit smaller than fresh, and it looks very similar. And one of the things that just made me laugh and go, oh my God, you got to be kidding me, is that in this letter it said that I obviously was trying to trade on the goodwill of their reputation. I'm thinking to myself, dude, your reputation? The thing that really just kind of like is ironic in all of this is that the company, like I said, I don't have any ill will towards the company. I don't dislike them or their products or anything like that. But the ironic thing is that the way that they got started and the main product that they sell is actually an antiperspirant, and it's aluminum, right? And that is the reason why I wanted to create a deodorant without aluminum, right? Because the more that I read, the more that I researched, I'm not going to go into it right now, but I wanted to use a healthier product, because aluminum, the way that it works, it goes in, it blocks or stops you from sweating, it clogs your like sweat ducts, and this is how you don't sweat, right? The whole reason why I wanted to create a deodorant was because I didn't want to use aluminum, right? The more I researched, the more I learned about what it does to your body and the fact that your body needs the sweat in order to get the toxins out. I'm like, yo, I don't want to use an antiperspirant anymore. And so it took me literally like a year to develop this product. And I'm so incredibly proud of it. Not only is it aluminum free, it's free from all the harmful toxic shit. Paraben free, sulfite free, it's vegan friendly, and it works, and it smells I'm sorry, I can't use that. I'm kidding. Super fucking fresh as fuck. And the other thing that really pisses me off, we've only been selling this now for a few months, and it's really starting to like gain traction. Like guys are getting it and they're loving it. And I'm so incredibly proud that I've created a product that I feel is better than anything else on the market in terms of men's deodorant. Not only does it go on, look at that, it goes on clear so it doesn't F up like your shirts. And the scent, guys, the reason why I call it Super Fresh is because it's like a spearmint eucalyptus, and it's just unbelievable, like nothing you've ever smelled. And so that's why I called it Super Fresh. Anyway, so I see this email, I get this email, I'm like, this is complete bullshit. It's a total bully move, just trying to get me to basically agree to change the name so that they in the future can continue to try to basically make other people not use the word super fresh, which is absolute bullshit if I'm just throwing it out there. So I decided to call the attorney, right? I'm like, let me just call this guy. Because honestly, I don't want to get into this whole like legal thing, right? I don't want to get sued. I don't want to have to hire an attorney. I don't want to have to defend myself. Even if legally I am allowed to call this super fresh or super fucking fresh or super freaking fantastic, ultra fresh for your armpits, it doesn't matter. Like I can legally do that, right? Because of the laws regarding trademarks. So I call him up and I start talking to him. I'm like, hey man, I'm like, so let me see if I understand this. You know, I know that you can't trademark super fresh. Your client doesn't have that trademark. He goes, correct, but they're trying to get, you know, super fresh and then like man part or some other like words, like they're trying to like package super fresh and make super fresh kind of like a part of a bigger brand, right? So they're trying to get this rolled through. I said, but you guys really just have a problem with the fact that it looks similar, right? And he's like, well, yeah, probably that's really the biggest issue. I'm like, okay. I go, no problem. Let your client know that I will go have my designer re-render this and make the super bigger over the fresh because I don't want any problems. I don't want to deal with this. It's not that big of a deal. And so he's like, all right, let me go back to my client. So I end up having my designer create this rendering. I send it to him. I go, hey, just show your client. No big deal. It's obviously a different look now. And so we should be good, right? If it was only that simple, right? The next day I get an email back and basically it goes over the fact that their client wants me to change the name. They're not happy with me just changing the look because they're intending by the year 2025 to basically have a bigger line. And then at that point, they're going to try to go after everybody who has a deodorizing product that, that has super fresh as the descriptor of how it smells. And so I got this email, and I'd already talked to my marketing guys and everybody at Pete Pedro, and was like, look, we don't have to change this. It's totally good. We're just going to change the look, no big deal. Everything's cool, and we'll just move forward. But when I got this letter back saying, nope, it made me pause. And it made me really angry, if I'm being honest, because I knew that I was about to have to make a decision that was bullshit, if I'm being honest. And I felt like I was being bullied into changing it when legally I don't have to. So what do I do? Do I say, fuck you, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to keep the name, come after me whenever you think you can, I'm ready, right? Or do I just say, you know what? I'm going to move on. I'm going to change the name, and I'm just going to go about my business, and I'm going to move forward. What would you do? That's the question. If legally you didn't have to, but you knew that it's a big company, and they could bully you, I use the term bully because honestly, that's kind of like what it feels like. It's a big company. I don't know how much bigger they are than Pete and Pedro. I know that they're not bigger than T. Hanley, but it feels like they are threatening me with future action if I don't do what they want now. And this is something that I think most of you are going to have to face at some point, right? You're always going to have somebody that's bigger, that has more money, that's badder, that's going to possibly want you to do something or want you to do something for them, even if you don't necessarily have to, but you're worried. You're scared of what's going to happen in the future. No, it just sucks. The decision sucks, right? Either way, it sucks. Because you don't change it, and in a few years you start having like people coming after you, or this company comes after me, you know, legally, and then what am I going to do? I've got to defend myself. I've got to hire attorneys. And like I said, the only person that wins in this type of situation is the attorney, right? The attorney is sending me this letter. Like, they want me to be like, no, F you, I'm not changing it, because what does that mean? That means that this attorney is going to make more money, right? And it made me think of something that my grandfather, who's my hero, said to me before he died. He was an entrepreneur, and he said, Aaron, you got two choices in business. You're either going to choose to feed your ego or your family, but you can't do both. And I felt like this was one of those times where he was kind of like speaking to me. It's like, Aaron, what are you going to do? You could fight it. You could do nothing. You could give him the finger and say, fuck you, come after me. You legally cannot do anything to me. Legally, I am allowed to call this super fucking fresh. Knowing that in the future, I'm probably going to have to deal with this again. What do you do? What do you do in my position, right? Knowing that you're either going to bend over and take it and let them win, or you may be in for more financial hardship or a fight later on, a few years down the road. You know, they said that they would let me have enough time. That's a thing that really kills me. They're going to allow me to sell through my inventory. I want to say, you're not allowing me to do shit. I am, like, that's the thing that's so frustrating with this. Is that, like, I know legally what my rights are, but I know that when people have money and just something that they want to get and they're willing to spend it to get their way, you never know. And quite frankly, I made the decision to change the name because I don't want to deal with this in the future, and I've got too much ass to kick, and I've got other bigger, better things to do other than fighting and losing money to lawyers over a name super. So what am I going to do now? I've got to sell through my inventory with the label that says super fresh. If you go to my website, which I'm going to link to down below, I would love you to, if you guys want to help me out, or just get yourself a better product, an incredible deodorant, or anything that Pete Pedro sells, because it works on everything, including Legend, the newest EDP fragrance from Pete Pedro. So this stuff I'm so incredibly excited about. It's inspired by Tom Ford's Effing Fabulous. And the reason why I was so excited to create this product, all right, so I wasn't intending on coming out with a new fragrance this year, but I was in Neiman Marcus and I was smelling a bunch of different fragrances, and I smelled Effing Fabulous, and I sprayed it on myself, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I got home and I let my wife smell it, and she said, that's the one. That's your next fragrance you got to come out with. I'm like, I'm not coming out with one this year. She's like, you have to. And that's why I created it. Guys, if you want to check this out, I'm going to link to it down below. That discount code works on Legend. It works on everything. But if you really want to help me out, guys, I got to move a few thousand units of the deodorant formerly known as Super Fresh. You go on the website, it's just going to say fresh. That is the reason. And I wanted to tell you the story, you know, because the truth is, I'm not the only one that this has happened to. And I'm not saying from this company, I'm just saying in general, right? Lawsuits are never fun. They're never pleasant. They are painful for everybody involved. And even though legally right now, I am within my legal right to not do shit and probably never have to do shit, is it worth it? Is it worth me basically taking a stand and being like, I don't care, right? Or is it easier for me just to be like, you know what? Screw it. Goodbye, good luck. I'm going to change the name and go about kicking ass and creating amazing products that dudes love, hopefully. That's the option I chose, because not only does it save me money from having to defend myself, even if I would win, I still lose because I would have had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to defend myself. I gotta not worry about this stupid shit. I don't need to be bogged down in legal bills or talking to my attorney over stupid shit that doesn't matter, doesn't move the needle. Guys, you've got a choice to make. As my grandfather said, in life, you're gonna feed your ego or your family. This time, I chose my family. What would you do? Down below, I'd love to know. Guys, thank you so much for hearing me out, and thank you for understanding why I'm bending over. I feel like I'm bending over. I'm probably making the smart decision for everybody involved. But would you have made the same decision? Down below, let me know. What would you do? Would you fight, knowing that you potentially are going to have a problem in the future, even if legally you would win? Would you fight? Or would you just say, fuck it? It's called fresh, even though it's super extra fucking fresh. Gentlemen, down below, let me know. Love you. Thank you for everything. And for those of you who grab Super Fresh Pete Pedro deodorant while the name lasts, you guys have literally a collector's item. You can tell your kids, yo, I grabbed the last batch, the first, I should say, the first and only batch of Super Fresh. Now it's going to be the same amazing fragrance and scent, but it's just going to be called plain ass boring fresh. Which brings me to another point real quick. Why don't I call it like super extra fresh, right? Or just extra fresh or ultra fresh? And the reason is because when I looked, there were other deodorants by bigger companies called that, and I'm just like, you know what, even though they probably legally don't have that trademarked, I don't even want to F with this. And so the deodorant from Pete Pedro that we are selling that is better than any deodorant on the market, in my humble opinion, is Pete Pedro Fresh. That is all. Not super fresh. It's not super fresh anymore. Well, technically, it's still super fresh, but it's called fresh in case anybody asks.